Greetings my friends and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I'm reviewing the brand new studio album from IO and new metal, modern metal, certainly the future, the current kings of extreme metal gods that they are. One of my all-time favourite bands, Slipknot. This is the end so far. So this mesmerising artwork here gives some indication of what we're getting here musically. See all those different shades, different colours, different elements, that explosion, vibrancy there. That is exactly what we get musically here. So for those unfamiliar with this album perhaps, this is the 7th studio album from the Metal Legends. They have gone through so many different twists and turns and changes over the years. There's been lineup changes, there's been changes in terms of aggression, more clean vocals, heavier riffs, more melodic elements. But this album, The End So Far, number 7, is in fact without a doubt their most diverse album to date. When I first heard this album, I was actually quite sceptical. The opening track and the second track on there, so I'm talking Adderall, the opening track, and the second track, the dying song, Time to Sing, they left me very much unconvinced upon that initial listen. And there's a few other tracks here throughout the album that also had that same effect, that I was almost apprehensive, a little bit unsure of what I was listening to, a little bit unsure of what direction they're going in, what are they trying to achieve here. But with the subsequent listens and giving it more time, giving it your ears, really absorbing and processing the music, it really has just infiltrated my soul. I absolutely cannot get enough of this album. It's just really grown on me and it is rapidly becoming one of my favourite Slipknot albums. You've just got to give it time. So let's backtrack a little bit. We're talking Slipknot, we're talking The End So Far, album number 7. Previous album, We Are Not Your Kind, was a pretty big achievement for the band. They did a lot with that album, a lot of touring, and there was some absolutely killer material. They managed to bridge the gap between their very aggressive, very boisterous early years with the self-titled debut album and the follow-up, the absolutely bombastic, crushing album that is Iowa. Going on a few years and a few albums, then we had the likes of Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses, and completely differently, we have All Hope Is Gone. With that album, We Are Not Your Kind, they managed to kind of bridge the gap between those two periods, that early period with those first two albums, and then third, fourth, going into that 5th album. They managed to bridge the gap. With this, they have built on that foundation. They've gone even further. They've explored different elements. They've taken so much more diversity. They've thrown all these different elements in there, but the whole time it sounds like Slipknot. There is no emulating their sound, and if they ever really did stray too far from their iconic style, extreme metal, but it's certainly very layered, so much going on, if they ever did stray too far away from that, I don't think they would even bother releasing it. They're not stupid, although they are very artistic people. They know what the fans want, but they know what Slipknot is. They know how to deliver it. So, that aside, let's go through some of these tracks here. I've already hinted that that first track, Adderall, left me very much unsure of what I was listening to, what was going on here. So that track, along with the closing track, good bookends to the album, Finale, they are slow tracks, they are quieter tracks, they are calmer tracks. Adderall is nearly 6 minutes long, and it is unlike any other Slipknot song. It's combining elements of prog, of blues, funk. It's very odd indeed. Corey does some fantastic vocals. You've got bumbling bass notes in the background there. You've got all this rhythm, all this melody, but it is not a heavy song. Lyrically and vocally, it's disturbing, it's unnerving stuff. It's very Slipknot. And certainly musically, because they just do what they do, diversify, explore different elements, it is Slipknot, but it's so different. It's unlike any other Slipknot song, and it is a massive curveball. It's closer to Stone Sour than it is to Slipknot, but it does grow on you. It grows on you over time. When we get the second track, the dying song, Time to Sing, again, I was not entirely convinced at first. We get lots of big choruses, we get some great vocal work from Corey with his cleans and his aggressive vocals. We get those huge, monstrous, hammering riffs breaking through at times, and the percussion section absolutely lays waste to your eardrums and your neck at times. It kind of reminded me a little bit of some of the tracks that we get, such as AOR from number 5, the Grey Chapter. But over subsequent listens, over time, it's really grown on me. It's a great song. It's sinister, it's Slipknot, it's heavy, but it's very diverse. Third track is the first single that we got from the album, the Chapel Town Rag. Now that track, for me, first listen, when I heard it ages ago, now I was, again, quite sceptical, but it's really grown on me, and it's certainly become an album highlight, in my opinion. It's combining the raw aggression and the energy of the Iowa era, and then it's bridging it with some of the more recent material from the Grey Chapter, and more noticeably from We Are Not Your Kind. Take a track like Nero Forte from the last album, and then combine it with that Iowa aggression, those huge riffs, you get the Chapel Town Rag. It's heavy, it's sinister, it's very diverse, but it is a fantastic song. It absolutely hammers your head. Completely different from Yen, track number 4. Now Yen is curveball again. We're going off in a different direction here. This is closer to a track like Kill Pop, or shall we say Gehenna. It's a little bit of an odd number, maybe even Vermilion Part 1. We've got lots of different elements there, but we've got some great cleans from Corey. His vocal work is fantastic throughout this whole album. His cleans are better than ever, and his aggressive vocals are, again, better than ever, on absolute top form. So this track it's sinister, it's odd, it's very different, it's very menacing, but it's a heavy number, great vocal work. It's a good track, certainly, but it's the Vermilion track of the album. Hive Mind is, again, another standout moment. It is barbaric. It does remind me of certain parts of Psychosocial, and definitely in terms of the breakdown that we get in there, it reminds me of Unsainted from that last album. It's very heavy. It is a brilliant track. It's very Slipknot. It's raw, it's aggressive, and it does not take prisoners. It's a furious track. We also get a few more furious tracks. The following track, Warranty, being one. That is a heavy moment. We get some killer guitar work there. We've got so many layers and so much texture to the music. It's just so deep and diverse. But Warranty is a very heavy song, very good riff work. We get that bass, we get the percussion that just hammers your brain into paste. Medicine for the Dead. There's a track that has a few similarities throughout their career. I'm thinking The Devil in I, perhaps Vermilion again, It's got a great chorus. It's very sinister. It's very Slipknot. It's a heavy song. It's quite a long song compared to the other tracks on the album, but we get a great clean chorus there. We get some crushing riffs, and it's got this chugging build to it. We get all this background synths and atmospherics in there as well. It's a very, very heavy song, and it's certainly a curveball on the album. It's a heavy one, yes, but we get some fantastic clean vocals and a massive chorus thrown in for good measure. Acidic and Heirloom, again, great tracks, very diverse. We get some great clean vocals. We get some furious guitar work there, and again the percussion is just astounding. Jay behind the drum kit there is an absolute machine. That guy is as worthy a replacement of the great late Joey Jordison as there could ever be. He is a fantastic drummer and brings so much to the album, so much to the band's sound. Certainly on tracks like the Chapeltown Rag or Hive Mind, where we get blast beats, we get absolutely monstrous drum work, and we get some great drums and guitars throughout Acidic and Heirloom. H377 is another very heavy moment, another very, very hard-hitting song, killer riffs. The guitar work is fantastic. It's not as bludgeoning as some of their previous albums, no, certainly not those early years, but you get a very solid display indeed. And you just can't help but get into that groove. You can't help but bang your head, pound your fist. If you're driving, you're going to break the limit, absolutely. Then we're on to Desaad, or Desaid. Again, we've got some great vocal work there. We've got some great clean elements there, thrown in with some harsh vocals. Very harsh vocal work from Corey. Again, the riffs, the whole song structure. There's some brilliant moments there. Every song is different. Every song is very standout. Of course, we go from Desaad on to Finale. We get a very heavy song juxtaposing that beautiful, clean singing, that calm, orchestral and choir elements of that closing track. But as I indicated there, no track here sounds the same. There is no replication. There is no filler. It is diverse. It is mixed. It is vibrant. It is heavy. It is extreme, but it is thoroughly enjoyable. I would say that this album is a perfect musical continuation from what they achieved with We Are Not Your Kind, and the album before that, The Grey Chapter, Point 5. That didn't get as much praise as I think it deserved, but those raw and heavy moments such as The Negative One, or Custer, or Sarcastrophe, those elements crop up here. That unrefined brutality, where we've got all these different elements thrown in and just thrown at you. That's what we get here. I would say this album, the end so far, is an absolute masterpiece. It is one of Slipknot's greatest moments. They do not have a bad album. They do not have a letdown. No subpar album at all. But this is an astounding piece of work. If you're not familiar with Slipknot, then this is as good a place to start familiarising yourself with the band as any. It shows what they're capable of, and this really does, as I've indicated before, bridge the gap between all those different periods and all those different albums throughout their catalogue, throughout their career. So, what do you guys think of this album? I am a massive fan of the end so far. What do you think? I'm very interested to hear. If you've not heard the album, check it out and then let me know what you have to say. Let's get some conversation going. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. Very grateful as always. You take care, my friends. Stay heavy.